So when we first designed the GaffGun, we were trying with the cardboard cores, and the problem is it just wasn't consistent enough until we switched to the plastic core lock technology. What we didn't want is something proprietary, and so we created an adapter, which on a lot of tapes works well. You can take your tape off, and the adapter, which has a round lip on it, you're actually going to put that lip on first and snap it into place. The lip is there so when you put the tape on, it helps keep it centered. So if you're using some tapes, it's a vinyl floor marking tape or a caution tape. There's some tapes that have easy pull-off tensions that work pretty well. If you're comparing the adapter to the core lock works better, and that's the reason we created it. So if you have a client that's sitting on pallets of tape that they need to use, or if there's a tape that they're trying to use that isn't yet available on a GaffGun, the adapters will work for that. As Jonathan said, you need to be a little bit careful because if it's a tape that has a really hard pull-off tension, that can be hard to use on the GaffGun with the adapters. If it's kind of my rule is if it's hard to pull off by hand, it's probably going to be hard to pull off on the GaffGun. So the adapters, lip first, you'll push that on. Now again, that lip is what's going to help keep the tape centered. You can then take your roll of tape and you can slide that on. Now every 3-inch diameter core is a little bit different in size. So some are 2.998 inches across and some are 3.024 inches. And so to have an adapter that worked for everyone, we had to err on the small side. So if we made it a little bit too big, there's just some tapes that it wouldn't fit onto. So we erred on the small side. If you have a roll of tape, your customer has a roll of tape, you're demoing the GaffGun, and it goes on and it's loose, then what we tell people to do, the easiest thing, is just to take a little strip of tape and depending on how much bigger the adapter you need to make it, you can just add more tape. But you can add a piece of tape to the adapter, and then when you put it back on, it'll be a little bit tighter. The snugger the fit, the better it's going to work. When you're pushing the GaffGun forward, it will have a tendency to wander off, and as it starts to wander, especially if you're taping down cables, it won't stay centered over the cables, and then you're going to have to redo your run. So that's the adapters and core lock.